Good morning, and it's Monday, and it's Money Matters, and I'm excited again. I love Mondays, but we're with Daniel again, and you're never going to get bored of Daniel because he is a wealth of information. And when we talked earlier, and by the way, he's with Nations First. I'll have all his contact information below. But he's got a great topic today, so I want you to stay on for the full thing. He's going to be talking about getting clarity when it comes to your financial, what would you say, your financial window, or your, what you do kind of in your money. So I'm going to let you just run this show because I'm going to be taking notes because I can't wait to hear what you're going to do to help clients with that clarity part. So.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. First off, I just want to express some gratitude to you for everything you're doing to give back. I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me from these videos saying that there's been really impactful things they've learned that they've been able to take and help other areas of their life. So the fact that you're taking time to put on all this and bring on guests and try to do things that are providing value for your clients outside of just your financial discipline is huge value and leverage to them. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Yep.
So one thing that is important to me and my mission is to help people realize their purpose in retirement. So what does that really mean? Well, retirement's definition is kind of grim. It means to be taken out of service, which I don't really like that definition at all. A lot of people refer to retirement as just, planning for future income so that you can do the things you actually technically want to do. So getting clarity around that is crucial. I would say most people in general just don't have clarity on where they're going, right? And so that's one thing that's difficult because Henry Ford says that, thinking is really doing the hard work. Sitting down and taking time to get clear on some definitions in your life and what you want is crucial because then you can just reverse engineer financial products to meet those needs. The problem is people don't know where they want to go. They don't know what they really consider to be what wealth is measured as. And so they're just kind of hopping around from the most recent person they talk to saying, oh, you should be doing this, or you should be doing this, or you need to buy this, and they end up getting frustrated and they end up getting a less than optimized result. And so when I go back to my mission, it's really about cutting through fear. It's about cutting through fixed beliefs, and it's also about cutting through a lot of just, people trying to sell you things that you really don't need. There's a lot of things now, especially with social media, that are biting for your attention. They're trying to get you to listen to their message because that's how they sell and make a living, and that's how they run their business, and that's fine. But it leaves people kind of financially overwhelmed and exhausted. And then they do get a good idea that comes along, they could align with what they want, and they can't make a decision on it, and they don't even really know why. So a good example of that would be a lot of times I'll sit down with somebody and they'll say, okay, I want X, Y, and Z. We go, okay, great. We map out the solution. They go, okay, no, I don't want that. and so it's like, okay, well, what do you want? Like, we have to know. So a great exercise that I picked up from an organization called Better Wealth is, and I've done this and I encourage everybody to do this, to get clear on what they want out of their time in life. Like, I'll go to the exercise in a second, but before I do, I want to say this. Like, Warren Buffett's the wealthiest man, one of the wealthiest men in the world. His fortune is, in the billions. Mm-hmm. But if you were to ask most people, would you trade places with Warren Buffett right now? The answer is no. But why? Well, because he's in his 90s. And that means that, you could have all the wealth in the world, but your time is more valuable to you than potentially money. Yet we're not living that way every day. We're showing up, sacrificing our time with maybe our loved ones or the things we really want to be doing, or while we have good health, for money. And so it's interesting to me that is like the norm. So one of the exercises that I think is really powerful that I encourage everybody to do is, if you think about we're going to get kind of grim for a second, so forgive me, but if you think about your funeral, there's this concept of the eulogy. Like, it's like what people say about you when you're gone. And I did this recently, and I got this from Better Wealth, where you actually take out your phone and you sit down and you record your own eulogy for your funeral, what your life was about, the principles that you live by, the values you wanted to be remembered for, the things that you accomplished and what that really meant to you. When you do that exercise, first of all, it forces you to think, but second of all, it also forces you to get really clear on, like, what is it that my life is about? What am I doing with my time every day? And how could I just line up the things that I need financially to check those boxes so I can do more of that? And so when you get clear on what you really want your life to be about, who you are and what your legacy is, then you can just do things to create efficiency by removing friction. And this is Better Wealth's framework for helping people. And I love it. I try to share it with as many people as I can, but you just look at a few key areas you could remove friction. Is income the problem? Is, what you're doing with your assets after you, accumulate that income and save it? Is debt the problem? Like, what are the areas of friction we need to eliminate so you can get further along your goal of clarity? And that's where we come in. That's where we can sit down with you and say, okay, what pieces need to be optimized? Where can we be more efficient to create this version of wealth that shows up in your life so you can realize your purpose? And that's what I'm trying to do every single day, is I'm sitting down with people and really cutting through a lot of things. People will let fear speak for them, and it could be the barrier that's holding them back from freedom. And that's often the case. And so I try to cut through fear as much as I can. I want it out of my clients' lives. I want it away from me and anybody I'm working with, because I don't want my clients living in scarcity. I don't want them not fully enjoying their potential with life because they're afraid of something that didn't even need to be a fear in the first place. And they got that fear from other people putting it in your life. Like, everything's putting fear in your life right now. The news, and I'm not going to get to conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of things that are trying to say, oh, look how bad things are in the US. The dollar's falling. We're going to go back to, needing concertina wire and a shovel and rations. And, there's a lot of fear. It's palpable. So I try to remove that. I try to help people get that out of their lives so they can make the best decisions. And I think the tools that you offer, create a lot of value in creating more certainty and more clarity on what people want. And so that's really my message today, is like, can you sit down? Can you do that exercise? And then can you look at the areas of your life that you need to improve and get professionals like Karen involved to help you go through that and say, okay, what could we do to free you up so you can spend more time living your purpose and enjoying life? And that's really my message today, Karen.
Well, I love that. And we're always on the same page when we deal with our clients. We kind of have a similar mission. And I love, fear is the biggest thing that we both see, making those big decisions, and I think that what I hear is people they're afraid to make the wrong decision, because once you get older and you make a decision, you kind of have to live with it,
Yeah.
So a lot of times they just won't do anything because of that fear of doing the wrong thing, and they don't know who to trust. They they have too much noise. Like you said, neighbors, relatives, friends, like, don't do this, don't do that. Or I hear those are horrible, when they don't know, they don't really have the facts for doing that. And you're right. It's about taking some of the risk. And I've done that exercise. It's been a while, but I just listed on what I value. And that's kind of part of the same process.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to Google words to trigger, so you start realizing really what you do, and then you narrow it down to like your top 10.
Yeah.
When I did that, I realized my values were, my family and doing things and faith and all that kind of stuff. When you get those, it changes what you do every day. Like you said, your time. And so I tell people, do I want to work 10-hour days? Not now. I don't. I love work, but I am going to spend time with my family and my grandchildren. But I have to have money. So that's part of the funnel, right? I have to figure out how to have the money to do the things I love with the people I want to spend time with. And I just think in retirement, the fear of not spending money, not investing money, and I also have a little side thing. A lot of my clients know, I call it money organizing. And really it's just a visual to see, where are you at? And how can we help you just organize it and take the fear out, take the clarity, so that your money's moving. It's a flow. You shouldn't be really thinking about money because everything should be set to go.
Yeah.
But
I want to tell a story as we close out. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a great example. This is based on a true story of a client. I'm obviously the part where I said based on is I'm going to leave their names out of it, but this is what happened to them, and it gets me thinking about our challenge and the client's challenge every single day of taking that leap and getting out of your comfort zone to arrive at an outcome that's really like the best case scenario for your life. Mm-hmm. And so, as motivators, we try to help challenge people's beliefs, because they come into meetings with a lot of things they've heard and a lot of stigma. that is just totally not based on fact. I mean, it's just purely like something they heard from someone else. So here's what happened, you know, and this is what really brought clarity to me. Like, I will do everything I can to lift up every stone for a client in any area to help better their life. Like, I will go, like, I just brought in a travel agent for one of my clients recently who just was like stressed out about travel and just needed to like outsource it, right? Like, I will look for resources. You will too. That's why we're doing this. But like, think about, like, I have a client that I heard recently that told me, like, they were approaching this concept of doing a HECM or a reverse. And they had heard all of this stuff. Like, they had heard all of these negative things about it, like how it's a scam, it's a ripoff, you'll lose your house, high fees, you name it, like all the stuff. So they had to cut through all of that first to even get to the table where they would look at a proposal. Then they did that. And then what did they do? They go to all their family and friends and they go, we're thinking about doing this. Can you speak into our lives? Give us some advice. What do you do? Then what are they met with? All of these people who also have that fear and stigma that's based out of something that's not even factually accurate, going, oh, no, you're crazy. You're going to lose your house. That's a ripoff. Are you out of your mind? Why would you do that? So then they got to persevere through all of that. Then they took the leap. And 3 years later, they're sitting back going, is this real? This is the greatest single thing we've ever done financially. It's changed their lives. They were able to do amazing things. And still, they still have family members who haven't done the work and are still speaking into their life saying, oh, what do you know, they're judging them. Like, what are you, crazy? Like, why would you, right? That happens with all kinds of areas, not just reverse mortgages. It happens with annuities, happens with all kinds of things. So clients really have to get clear on what they want, because there's a lot of emotional things they're going to have to cut through to know that they're on the right path. And I think that's challenging for them. So I try to empathize with that. But it's challenging for us too, because we're sitting here with like the math oftentimes going, the math supports that this is the right thing to do based on what you're looking to accomplish. And it totally aligns with your beliefs and your outcome you want to achieve.
Right.
But there's all that extra stuff they got to go through. So it's just fascinating to me. So that's why I think getting clear is your compass, and then being able to just shut out the noise so that you can do what's best for your life is crucial.
And that's where I think when someone refers you, it's just not the online people.
Yeah.
That is going to the head of the line. It's cutting through all the stuff, because if you get a good referral that somebody knows, likes, trusts, and you're the expert, you have to trust that somebody else went before you. Yeah. Because if you don't, just like you were saying, you have to go through all this and then you start over and then you go, like, it's a mental tug and war. But that's why referrals work with people that will refer you to someone who's lived it, done it. I know you have your own products. I carry all my own products. You know, we're living our own stories. And that says a lot. So I always say that's why it's important to work with people that really have the integrity and care, so you won't be sold.
Yeah, that's why for me and my team, one of the things I'm most proud of is my relationships, because my clients know when I say, hey, you should talk to Karen Moon. Like, I don't do this. I don't know anything about it. Like, Karen's the expert, talk to Karen. They can trust that. Like, we've vetted these relationships. They're deep. We've, you know, and when we make a referral, it's not because we don't share any compensation in any way. I don't send people to Karen because she sends me a $50 gift card or something silly like that. I send people to Karen because I know they're going to be taken care of. Right. And same with the rest of my team. Like, when I send people to talk to an estate planning attorney or CPA, refer them out, you know, it's because they know they can trust that relationship. So they don't have to worry about all the, you know, the vetting and the due diligence. They just know, hey, you know, this is somebody I can trust. And that the value of relationships is so important.
And that vetting is so important. Not to go on too long, but how much time we spend with people before we refer them.
Oh yeah. Look how much we went. I mean, shoot,
And so I think a lot of people don't realize, so you might even ask the person who's referring, is it someone you just like, or was it somebody that you really spent time with and vetted before you take a referral? Because I know there are many great organizations and networking, but just because they're in the group, they have to refer them, but they haven't really vetted the person. So again, when you're just, whatever you're doing at plumbers, anything like that, is it someone you just like, or someone you have experience with?
That's
So
a great point. You need to be, yeah, for people out there who are getting referrals from other people,
mhm,
you know, you got to be careful because you got to make sure like what's the intent behind that referral.
yeah,
You know, for me, it's always big to disclose like I'm not getting compensated in any way. I'm not like trying to push you to this person. I just know that they're the right who for your life that will better
mhm,
what you're trying to accomplish.
right.
And
So.
that's crucial.
Well, this was kind of a fun segment. And
Yeah.
again, I love that. I might have to, that eulogy thing is kind of a weird thing to do, but
Yeah.
it really makes you think about your life, what you want people to say about you. So do that. Maybe look up your values. And I always say, once you figure out what you value in life, you'll find your purpose. It just will, your heart will lead you there. So, well, we're
100%.
here. Call either one of us. Daniel is amazing at insurance, annuities, and a multitude. Like, again, he has got people he can refer you to better your life. But just call him. He's not a sales guy. He's really there with the integrity to help you. And then anything we can do here at the Moon Team, we would love to. So have a great Monday. Thank you for your time. I know you're super busy, but we always love to have you come on.
It's my honor. Thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Talk to everyone later.